with the dragon and the woman about to give birth. I remember Jimmy Evans showed me that, like when it showed up in the heavens, if you will, because God would actually speak through the stars, right?
The Lamb family, known for their leadership role within the Daystar Television Network, DYAR, a major Christian broadcaster, has been at the center of a significant controversy that has unfolded over the past several years. This conflict is rooted in deeply personal issues, including allegations of spiritual abuse, intimidation, and a shocking family betrayal that has shaken both the family and the broader Christian community. At the heart of these tensions is Jonathan Lamb, the son of the network's founder, Marcus Lamb, and his wife, Susie, who made the difficult decision to leave the organization in November 2024. Their departure was not without its own dramatic series of events, which were compounded by allegations against other key figures within Daystar, particularly Jonathan's mother, Joey Lamb, and prominent Christian counselor, Jimmy Evans. The revelation that brought Jimmy Evans to tears. A pivotal moment in the Lamb family saga came when Jonathan Lamb revealed a deeply personal and startling truth about the dynamics within his family and Daystar Television Network. This disclosure reportedly caused a visibly emotional reaction from Jimmy Evans, a longtime advisor to the Lamb family. The details of this revelation remain shrouded in some mystery, but it is clear that it exposed underlying tensions within the family, as well as a serious rift that had been building for years. The disclosure was said to involve a confrontation over leadership, biblical integrity, and the ethical foundations of decisions made by Daystar's leadership. The revelation reportedly challenged the authenticity and transparency of the leadership within Daystar, particularly with regard to Joy Lamb's marriage to intimacy therapist Doug Weiss. Jonathan and Susie had been outspoken in their opposition to this marriage, believing that it was inconsistent with biblical teachings on marriage and divorce. The reaction from Evans, who had long been a spiritual counselor to the Lamb family, was said to be one of emotional shock, even shedding tears in response to Jonathan's decision to speak out. This moment marked a dramatic shift in the family's dynamic, with Jonathan's willingness to disclose the truth leading to an irreversible rupture with his mother and the wider Daystar leadership. The background: Jonathan and Susie Lamb's departure. To fully understand the gravity of Jonathan's revelation, it's important to examine the context leading up to his departure from Daystar. The Lamb family's involvement with Daystar dates back to the organization's founding by Marcus Lamb, Jonathan's father. Jonathan and Susie were not only integral to the day-to-day operations of the network, but also held leadership roles that shaped the network's message and outreach. Their deep commitment to Daystar's mission, combined with their growing concern over the spiritual and ethical direction of the organization, set the stage for the intense conflict that ultimately led to their exit. One of the key factors driving their departure was their increasing discomfort with what they perceived as spiritual abuse and coercion within the network. The Lambs felt that they were being manipulated and intimidated by both Joy Lamb and Jimmy Evans, who had significant influence over the direction of Daystar. Jonathan and Susie claimed that they were subjected to dishonesty and coercion in both personal and professional matters, leading to a breakdown of trust in Daystar's leadership. They felt their personal beliefs, autonomy, and integrity were being compromised for the sake of maintaining control within the organization. The concerns about Doug Weiss and Joy Lamb's marriage. Another major factor that fueled the tensions between Jonathan, Susie, and Joy Lamb was Joy's marriage to Doug Weiss in June 2023. Doug Weiss, an intimacy therapist known for his work with couples, was a controversial figure in the Christian community. Weiss had been previously married, but his first marriage ended in divorce under troubling circumstances, including allegations of adultery and mental health struggles. For Jonathan and Susie, the combination of Weiss's past and his professional background raised serious concerns. Their opposition to the marriage was grounded in their belief that it went against biblical teachings on marriage and divorce. Jonathan and Susie's objections were not just theological, but deeply personal. They saw Joey's decision to marry Weiss as a betrayal of the family's values and a step away from the principles that had shaped Daystar's founding. The timing of the marriage was also problematic for Jonathan and Susie, as Weiss had only recently finalized his divorce when he began dating Joey. This, coupled with Weiss's past struggles with intimacy addiction, caused deep concern for the Lambs, who questioned whether this marriage would be stable or align with their faith. Their discomfort with the marriage escalated when they were asked to read a congratulatory message on a live broadcast in support of Joy and Doug's union. Jonathan and Susie felt cornered and conflicted, as they feared that reading the message would be seen as an endorsement of a marriage they privately disapproved of. Their refusal to comply with the request caused tensions to reach a boiling point, laying bare the deep fractures in the family and highlighting the serious divide between the Lambs over issues of faith, leadership, and personal convictions. The unsettling allegations of mistreatment. The situation grew even more complicated when Jonathan and Susie revealed allegations of mistreatment within the family that involved their young daughter. Between 2020 and 2021, their daughter, who was 5 years old at the time, was allegedly subjected to multiple instances of inappropriate behavior at the hands of a male family member employed at Daystar. This individual, known only as Pete, was reportedly involved in mistreating their daughter, and the couple made the decision to report the incidents to the authorities. While the investigation into these claims initially stalled due to the child's reluctance to speak, new evidence reportedly led to the reopening of the investigation. Jonathan and Susie maintained that they were deeply disturbed by the way their concerns were handled, particularly by Joy Lamb and other senior Daystar administrators. They accused them of attempting to conceal the actions of Pete, rather than taking appropriate measures to protect their daughter. For Jonathan and Susie, this was a devastating breach of trust, and further proof that Daystar's leadership was failing to act in the best interests of its employees and their families. The impact on the Lamb family and Daystar. The allegations against Pete and the subsequent handling of the situation by Daystar leadership created an atmosphere of mistrust and tension that ultimately led to Jonathan and Susie's departure from the organization. The couple felt betrayed by Joey Lamb and other senior leaders whom they believed should have supported them in protecting their daughter and addressing the mistreatment within the family. At the same time, the broader Daystar community began to take notice of the accusations against Joey and Jimmy Evans. As high-profile figures in the Christian counseling and media world, their behavior was under intense scrutiny. The allegations of dishonesty, intimidation, and coercion caused a significant amount of concern within the religious community, leading many to question the integrity of the leadership at Daystar. The network's reputation, once seen as a beacon of faith-based media, was now under threat due to the escalating conflict within the family and the accusations of spiritual abuse. The question of how to handle these allegations and the broader fallout from Jonathan and Susie's departure became a central issue for Daystar's future. The Lamb family's departure marked the end of an era for Daystar, and the internal strife was a stark reminder of the difficulties that can arise when power, faith, and family intersect in complex and painful ways. The Christian community's reaction. As news of the Lamb family's departure and the allegations against Daystar's leadership spread, reactions from the Christian community were mixed. Some expressed sympathy for Jonathan and Susie, seeing them as victims of spiritual abuse and coercion. Others, however, questioned their decision to leave Daystar and the public nature of their disclosures. The controversy has sparked broader conversations about the role of faith-based organizations in shaping the personal lives of their leaders and employees. Many are calling for greater transparency, accountability, and a reevaluation of the power structures within Christian organizations, especially when it comes to the protection of vulnerable individuals within the community. As the investigation into the Lamb family's allegations continues, and as the leadership at Daystar faces growing scrutiny, the family's revelations have prompted a larger discussion about the intersection of faith, power, and personal integrity within the world of Christian broadcasting. The story of Jonathan and Susie Lamb is a cautionary tale of the challenges that come with maintaining one's convictions in the face of pressure, manipulation, and betrayal within a faith-based organization. The allegations and the growing divide. The Lamb's allegations against Johnny Lamb and Jimmy Evans have created a volatile environment within Daystar. Jonathan and Susie's claims about spiritual mistreatment, cover-ups, and improper handling of abuse allegations are not merely personal grievances. They resonate deeply with the broader questions of power dynamics and accountability within faith-based organizations. These revelations have exposed fault lines that have long been present within the Lamb family and the organization. It seems that the alleged cover-ups, the family's internal strife, and the growing mistrust are a manifestation of deeper issues that include not just the personal failures of individuals, but also the spiritual and ethical challenges faced by the leadership of Daystar. One particularly explosive moment occurred during a family gathering in July 2023. During this meeting, Jonathan and Susie were confronted by Johnny Lamb, who demanded an explanation for their refusal to publicly support her remarriage to Doug Weiss. This confrontation quickly escalated, and Johnny brought along Jimmy Evans, a trusted friend and marriage counselor, to assert her authority. The presence of Evans only heightened the tension, especially when he declared that Johnny was the voice of God to Jonathan. This statement was seen as an attempt to legitimize Johnny's position, framing any opposition as resistance to God's will, which deeply unsettled Jonathan. For him, the implication was clear. To question Johnny was to question God. This claim left Jonathan feeling suffocated and manipulated, as he sought clarity on the relationship between his mother's authority and his personal faith. The emotional weight of the meeting was exacerbated by Johnny's accusations against Susie, questioning her emotional stability and trustworthiness. This added layer of complexity underscored how deep the family's divisions ran. At this point, Jonathan felt compelled to take a stand. He was not just fighting for his personal beliefs, but for the autonomy and integrity of his family and faith. Jimmy Evans, a respected leader in crisis. To understand the full impact of these events, it is essential to consider the role of Jimmy Evans. Evans is a well-known figure in the Christian world, a respected pastor, author, and marriage counselor who has made significant contributions to the field of Christian ministry. He co-founded Exo Marriage, an organization dedicated to helping couples build lasting marriages, and is also a key figure in the syndicated television program Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen. He has authored over 50 books, including bestsellers like Marriage on the Rock and Freedom from Your Past. His teachings on marriage, divorce, and family values have reached millions of people. Despite his extensive career, Evans found himself embroiled in the internal conflict at Daystar. His emotional response to Jonathan's revelation in July 2023 speaks volumes about the personal toll the situation has taken on him. Evans, who has long been a mentor to the Lamb family, seemed genuinely distraught by the disintegration of their relationships. His tears and his expressed desire to help mend the fractured family dynamic suggest that he was deeply affected by the unfolding drama. However, it also raises questions about the ways in which Evans, as a trusted advisor, may have contributed to the tensions in the first place. Was his involvement in Joni's remarriage too close for comfort? Did his leadership position influence his judgment regarding family matters? These are questions that remain unanswered as the situation continues to evolve. Joni Lamb's response and the family's fallout. The scandal surrounding Jonathan and Susie Lamb's departure from Daystar has prompted strong reactions from various members of the Lamb family, particularly Joni. Her response to the allegations has been adamant and forceful. In a video released to the public, Joni lambasted the accusations, framing them as part of a smear campaign driven by Jonathan's personal frustrations. She asserted that the decision to terminate Jonathan was based on a thorough evaluation of his performance over 15 months, which reportedly revealed that he had failed to address areas of improvement. She further claimed that the allegations against her and her family were completely false and were being used as leverage in a power struggle over leadership within Daystar. Joni's defense of her actions, particularly regarding her remarriage to Doug Weiss, has added fuel to the fire. The rapidity of her remarriage, just 18 months after Marcus's death, has sparked debate within the Christian community. While Joni's decision to remarry is viewed by some as biblically permissible due to her status as a widow, others have questioned the ethics of Doug Weiss's quick divorce, especially given his involvement in the Daystar ministry. This scrutiny has only intensified in the wake of the accusations against Daystar employees, further complicating Joni's already difficult position. At the heart of the issue is the Lamb family's divided response to leadership at Daystar. Jonathan's dissatisfaction with being passed over for the presidency of the network following Marcus's death has created a rift between him and his mother. Joni's insistence on being named the successor of Marcus Lamb, as per his instructions, has led to a power struggle that Jonathan was unwilling to accept. This conflict has ultimately led to Jonathan's termination from the network and his decision to make the allegations public. Daystar's response and the legal battle. In response to the allegations, Daystar Television Network has denied any wrongdoing. The network issued a statement claiming that the matter had been resolved after an internal investigation, which found no evidence to support the claims. The statement emphasized that the investigation had concluded over 3 years ago, and the network had moved on. Joni Lamb's video further rejected the allegations, claiming they were a result of Jonathan's personal frustration and desire to undermine her leadership. She went so far as to accuse Jonathan of attempting blackmail, stating that his dissatisfaction grew particularly after her remarriage to Doug Weiss. Despite these public denials, Jonathan and Susie Lamb have continued to assert their version of events. They claim to have evidence supporting their accusations, which they shared with law enforcement and the media. Their decision to make their story public on platforms like Instagram and TikTok has generated significant attention, particularly regarding their fears of retaliation from Daystar. They argue that they were subjected to harassment and intimidation, and that their departure from Daystar was a direct result of their refusal to participate in a cover-up of serious allegations. As of now, the legal aspects of the case remain unresolved. Both sides have dug in their heels, with Jonathan and Susie Lamb accusing Daystar of covering up abuse, while Daystar continues to deny any wrongdoing. The tension between the parties is palpable, and it seems unlikely that a resolution will come quickly. Legal measures are reportedly underway, and both sides are preparing for a prolonged battle. The emotional toll on the family. The emotional weight of the situation is perhaps best encapsulated by Jimmy Evans's reaction. His tears and visible distress suggest that he feels personally responsible for the rift within the Lamb family. As a close friend of Joni Lamb and a key figure in the leadership of Daystar, Evans's involvement in the drama has undoubtedly made him question his role in the unfolding crisis. It's clear that he feels conflicted about the allegations and the impact they have had on his relationships with the Lambs. Evans's emotional response can be interpreted in several ways. On one hand, it could be seen as genuine remorse for the breakdown of family relationships that he helped facilitate. On the other hand, it could indicate a sense of guilt over his involvement in decisions that may have led to the current fallout. Whatever the cause of his distress, Evans's emotional turmoil speaks to the complexity of the situation and the far-reaching consequences of the allegations and the ensuing conflict. Conclusion: a family divided. The ongoing dispute within the Lamb family and the broader Daystar organization has raised serious questions about leadership, accountability, and the role of faith-based organizations in addressing allegations of abuse. As the family continues to grapple with the fallout, the Christian community watches closely, concerned about the impact these events will have on the reputation of Daystar and the broader ministry. The emotional response of Jimmy Evans and the public statements from Joni Lamb reflect the deep personal toll this situation has taken on all parties involved. While Daystar continues to deny the allegations and defend its leadership, Jonathan and Susie Lamb remain steadfast in their claims of mistreatment and cover-up. The future of Daystar Television Network, as well as the relationships within the Lamb family, remains uncertain as the legal and public battle continues to unfold. The question remains: how much more will be revealed, and how will it affect the legacy of Daystar and those associated with it?